Hey everybody, welcome to the Movie Goers podcast. My name is Jordan. You can find me on all socials at Jordy B Writing.
And I'm Darius. That's D's all up in your area on all socials.
And today we're going to be reviewing Set It Off. This movie came out in 1996, starring Jada Pinkett Smith, Pre-Entanglement, Queen Latifah, Vivica A. Fox, Kimberly Elise, pre-Tyler Perry, Blair Underwood, pre-Tyler Perry, John McGinley, and Ella Joyce. The plot synopsis of Set It Off is about four close friends in Los Angeles, frustrated by poverty and systemic injustice, who decide to rob banks to escape their desperate circumstances. While initially successful, their heists become increasingly dangerous, leading to betrayals, tragic losses, and a thrilling, violent confrontation with the law. So I'm toss it to you to give your first impression, and opening up Act One.
Act one, we're going to call The Seeds of Desperation and the First Taste of Rebellion. Four friends facing systemic hardship and a wrongful firing are driven to a desperate bank robbery for survival and revenge. Just wanted to note this was Kimberly Elise's first movie.
Yeah, she
First
killed
movie
it.
ever, which is pretty meaty role for your first time being in front of a camera.
Dead
Normally you're just like
ass.
someone drinking coffee in the
Right.
background. I don't know how
She
she
has to
pulled that off, and
die,
shout out to
raise a
her agent.
kid,
Yeah, like
like yeah.
she was clearly like the fourth character of the four, but she
Right.
was still it's a pretty meaty part.
And she stood out.
Yeah, she was good. She was really good.
And
So
she has aged very well. I want to say
yeah,
that.
yeah, that she has. That's some Tyler Perry checks. Keep her young.
She played a mom in the show I love called Love Life. It was like an anthology like rom drum on Max. They put it on Prime now. But it's super dope.
Yeah,
Yeah, you should check that out. Viewers and everybody, if you're into like that kind of romantic stuff.
I love a good
Um,
rom-com, man.
Me
Just
too.
to set the scene. So we got four women there. Queen Latifah. She's just she's doing this because she just wants some money. We got Jada
Yeah, pretty
Pinkett
much, yeah.
Smith's character, who just recently in this act loses. She lost her parents, and so she was like the parental figure for her little brother. She lost him to a police shooting. That's her motivation. Vivica A. Fox just got fired from a job. That's her motivation. And Kimber Elise's character is just struggling to make ends meet. So that's her motivation. So
Yes.
what you got for Act One?
Um, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, this cast was fucking incredible. Like
Yeah,
everybody was so good in this movie. Even the bit players, the guys who played the cops, they weren't just two-dimensional.
yeah.
I love that this was a movie that I was thinking about this today. And I've seen this movie a million times, but I had never thought of it today till today, I guess. But it's one of those things where almost everyone has their turn being a villain and a hero to a
Yeah.
certain extent. Like the people who you think are the biggest villains in the movie are really not the biggest villains in the movie. Like the cops were bad, yes,
Yeah.
but they were in their perspective, they were doing their jobs. But they also, the one cop he like lets Stoney get away.
Yeah.
In the end he kind of like it was like, oh, I fucked up. We fucked that up. Like that's your mulligan. You know what I mean?
You know, well they killed her brother.
Right.
Who look, that was a bad shoot.
It
It's
was.
like not an illegal shoot, but it was a bad shoot. That was
It
bad
was
police
yes.
work. Um, but it's also not smart to go to a wanted criminal's house and get his hair cut.
True. Yes. And
It's
also
also
not
not
smart to like
smart to
reach
reach
when
for
when
things
you're
you know.
with police around.
Look,
So if we have
you
younger
can hire a
viewers,
lawyer and you can fight it in court later, but you need to get home.
yeah, get the fuck home. Yes. So also since we are, I mean, we're relatively young, but in the
Yeah,
scope of we're like giving out Big Brother advice to like the
yeah.
young listeners out there, if we have any of those young men, especially young black men, do not reach when
No,
you're around police officers. Don't make no sudden movements. Yes sir,
no.
no sir. Make it the fuck home. If your parents haven't told you that, make it the fuck home.
Yeah.
So we
So
do want to make sure to say that.
in his defense, so the champagne bottle's in his coat and they tell him to lay down.
Right.
So is he gonna bust it on his stomach? Like
True. That is true. You're right.
but
That's true. That's a good point.
you yell like, "Hey, I have champagne in my waistband.
Right.
What do you want me to do with
What
it?"
do you want me to do with this? I have glass on my person.
Like, I don't want to need stitches tonight, but I will if that's the alternative.
Yeah, listen, if you want to, if I need new ribs, so be it.
Yeah. But, that's it was a tough spot for him because they're asking
Yeah.
him to lay down and basically shatter a bottle of champagne on his stomach. So
And the noise probably would have scared them, so they probably still would have shot him either way.
that's why
Um,
communication. Hey, I got it. I'm listening. I'm cooperating. What do you want me
Yep.
to do with the champagne?
Yes. You know what I've always wondered watching this movie is like obviously he had a good relationship with the shooter, with the bank robber guy.
Yeah.
Do you think do you think he like let him get that haircut on purpose? Not that he knew the cops were out there, but just like the idea of I'm gonna have this on the back of my head, rob a bank without a camera, and let this kid get their haircut.
Um,
Do you think he thought that far ahead?
maybe, maybe, but who robs a bank and with multiple
With no
fatalities and goes
mask.
home and then goes home?
True.
This is not,
Yeah,
DB
it was
Cooper
not
Cooper.
a
This was not like
yeah, no, this was not Heat.
no, no. These weren't the guys from Reservoir Dogs.
No, not at all. There was no Mr. Pink.
No, and so
Um,
you know, I don't. We don't get to pick our like. Well, we do get to pick our friends, but like, he's from the
right.
projects, right? And like,
So all
so
his
these are
friends are gonna
those are all of his friends, and he just graduated, and his friends like, I got a bottle of champagne for you. He's 18 years old. He can't just go buy a bottle of champagne. His big homie giving him a little liquor for his
right.
graduation. So he pulling up on the big homie's crib.
He's probably gonna go to some girl's house right after.
Correct. With the champagne, have a little
Yeah.
celebration. He's thinking I'm in and out 5 minutes.
Yep.
He's hot right now, but what's the worst that could happen? He's 18 years
Yeah.
old. He's not thinking clearly. So I'm not
hmm
I'm
He
not
don't know that
begrudging
that
him
dude robbed
for
the bank probably.
you probably knew that part, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
fair.
begrudging him for that. He just has that awful luck. So
He had shitty luck. Yeah.
I mean actually so the way they set it up, it was very like was it just a little too on the nose or was it just me how they went from like her brother dying? Well, so Vivica loses her job.
Yes.
Jada Pinkett's brother died. In the next scene, TT loses her baby. And it just
Yep.
was like, then they're just like, let's set it off. I was like, that's a little too on the
Set it off, I
nose.
suggest, y'all.
Yeah. It was like, I wish, I would have felt it better if maybe one of those tragedies and they just all kind of get sick of their circumstances naturally and just want out.
Mm,
So,
that's a good point. I
but it
mean, I
did do a
think
job of making them more empathetic to the
right.
viewer.
Yeah,
So,
it did it conveyed the message of the movie,
yeah,
of the storytelling. I think maybe if they had spread it out a little bit more, like throughout the course of the story,
yeah,
so it wasn't just like boom, 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 like bad thing after bad thing after bad thing. But when it rains, it pours, so that
yeah.
and they say bad thing happened in threes. So
Yeah.
I mean, I get the storytelling aspect of it, but I get what you're saying. I think like another movie like that it was like that. I think like that movie Straw that came
Yeah.
out, the shitty Tyler Perry movie. Like I had people who saw it tell me about it, and they were like, "Yeah, like the first 15 minutes, she loses her job and she can't get a check, and she's evicted, and she's and like." So we understood why she had to go rob the banks or whatever she did in the movie. I don't know, but like yeah.
So,
So I get the first act was a bit of a rush job.
I'll say this. When you're like, this also happened in the Tyler Perry movie, you're kind of admitting it was bad.
True.
I haven't seen
That's a
that
fair
movie.
point.
I'll never see
That's
that
a
movie.
Yeah, I'll never
But
see
if
that
you're like,
movie.
well, no, Tyler Perry did it. Okay, thank you. You agree with me. All right.
That's a fair point. Yep. Yeah, I think they were trying to achieve or should have tried to achieve, well, it came out after, but like the Joker style kind of
Yeah.
slow burn where it was like it wasn't just boom, he found out his mom was beating him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It led up to, oh, that's the last straw.
Yeah.
But it was every straw was the last straw in the first 30 minutes. So um that's a fair point.
So
But
opening scene, question.
yeah.
So her childhood friend comes into the bank, puts a gun in her face, we're robbing the bank.
hmm
What is your job in a robbery?
Hit the silent alarm.
No, it's to get robbed. That is your job. Why are you
Oh,
negotiating
yeah,
with
yeah, yeah.
them? Like
Yeah,
someone
why,
puts a gun in
why,
your face.
why? I don't, and I think that, I will say that is, I don't know if it's realistic, but I will say that does speak to
It
our
happens.
need to, it speaks to our need to one, protect each other, and it speaks to our need to like be understanding and be overly forgiving.
Yeah.
Because I'd have been like, here, just take all this shit. This ain't my money.
Yeah. Listen, let's for the audience to know. When someone puts a gun in your face and they are robbing you,
Give
your
them what the
job,
fuck they're
you have one
asking.
job. It's to get robbed.
Yes.
You want this chain, you want this wallet, all that shit's replaceable. Half of it's insured. You can have it, man. You're the one with the gun.
Yeah.
And
As a matter of fact, I have been robbed at gunpoint,
yeah,
and I got robbed at gunpoint my first semester freshman year of college.
I believe
during
you have told me
homecoming.
that story.
Yeah.
It's
And it was, I looked down and I saw two 38s pointed in my stomach. I said, "Oh, damn." But their hands were in my pockets already. They were getting my shit. And so like they got, it was the worst robbery ever because they got my phone and my keys. I had my wallet in my back pocket, but they never grabbed it. And then like I was holding like snacks. I went to the convenience store to get like chips and shit, like and gummies after like a concert. And because that's what teenagers do. And then they walk away and they snatched that too.
Do you
It
remember
was
what the concert was?
Yeah, it was Drake and J. Cole and Rick Ross. It was
That's a
the
hell of a show.
our yeah, Chrisette Michelle was there. Who opened? Cali Swag District when they had that song "Teach Me How to Dougie."
You
So
know how
it was
much you dated
freshman
yourself
homecoming.
that you saw all those people in one concert and like half of
Yeah,
them people are headliners now?
yeah,
I once saw a Lil Wayne set where Drake and Nicki were special guests. It was like that's how old I am. I saw three headliners in one set basically.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. No, it was the worst robbery ever. Yeah, like they ended up just getting like pretzels and keys to a dorm that were going to be changed. So just
one
give them
thing
whatever they
they
need.
one thing the movies don't convey properly is just guns are fucking huge.
They're fucking huge and they're fucking heavy.
Yes.
Like they're heavy as shit.
They're heavy and they're huge. And like I tell people all the time, if someone will put a gun in your face, you have to assume they will kill you.
Correct.
Like you cannot be like, oh, they don't mean it. No.
Yeah.
If someone will point a gun at you, they will kill you. You have to assume
Assume
they will
that.
kill you.
Right.
You just have to because like the audacity to put a gun in someone's face, you're already
True.
75% there. Like you just
Correct.
all you have to do is pull the trigger and your life's
Yep.
over. So,
Yeah, that's true.
your job is to get robbed.
Yeah, I remember whenever I like told people the story, they'd be like, "How did you know? How could you tell that the gun was loaded?" I'm like, "They're fucking heavy, dude." Like, I know the difference between like weighted metal and unweighted metal.
How do you know the gun is up? Stop watching movies.
You thought I was gonna take that chance, bitch? Are you crazy?
I just also like there was two people there. They're pointing
Right.
two guns at you, and you're supposed
Yeah.
to properly assess whether the threat is real and then take down two assailants.
Right.
Uh, what this is not this is not John Wick. Like this is not you're not the equalizer.
Yeah, bro.
So you get home after the robbery, what do you do?
Yeah, that was the crazy part because like uh so I was in my dorm. Oh, I was walking to my dorm. Thank God I actually ran into one of my friends like 10 seconds after it happened. And I was like, "Hey, I just got mugged. Can I use your phone?" And she's like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, can I just use your phone? I got mugged." She's like, "Stop fucking with me." I was like, "No, I literally just got robbed. Like they're walking over there." She's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I get the phone, I call my mom, and she's like, "Did you call the police?" I was like, "No, I called you." And she's like, "Call the police." It's like, "Oh yeah, I guess that's important." So I called the police. They come down. It's homecoming weekend, so they're already right on campus anyway. So it was pretty short wait, and they helped me get into my dorm. They were like, okay, we're gonna have them change the lock and stuff, whatever. I think I obviously I couldn't go to sleep after that, so I stayed up till like 7 in the morning. Went to sleep, woke up, my mom was in my dorm, and
Well,
she
baby
took
got
me to go
robbed.
like out to eat and stuff. Make sure I was yeah, make sure I was okay and stuff. Got me a new phone, all that, and then that was Sunday, and then at Monday night. So my dad had gotten lost his job my senior year of high school. So like 3 weeks before I went off to college, he moved to Omaha for a job. So he actually flew down to Raleigh and then drove up to Greensboro that Monday, um, to like take me out to dinner and check on me too. So spent the whole weekend with my parents pretty much after that.
They almost made you
Yeah, so
quit
that's that
Raleigh.
story.
Well, sorry that happened to you. Do you have anything
I,
else for
I
Act One?
Oh yeah, appreciate it. Oh yeah, no, yeah. What did I have for Act One? Um, oh yeah, we didn't talk about the low-key prostitution slash non-consensual
I think
encounter.
it was high key prostitution, and I'm pretty sure it was consensual. I mean, he paid her for sex, which um
Yeah,
is a different kind of illegal, but it you know
right.
um she didn't look like she enjoyed it very much.
No, no,
But
no,
it was
no. That was a gruesome
it
scene.
was clearly a pay for play situation. Um, It's just I don't know. It's just gross. I don't really have anything else to add to that.
And the thing that sucked the most was that she did all that, and then remember her brother was like, "Yeah, so I actually didn't get into USC at all, so I don't have a scholarship." And she's like, "I did you?" She's like, "What?" Oh man, that was heartbreaking.
it's such a young nigga lie. Like, she was gonna find out you weren't going to school. Where was
Like
your plan?
you thought she was gonna drop you off the door. Yeah, seriously, what was your plan? That's what I always wondered. It's like, so you were gonna go to the school with a box of stuff, and she was gonna drive away?
And you were just
Yeah.
like gonna go like turn around. Oh, well, like, you don't have nowhere to live.
Like, what were you gonna do for 4 years?
Yeah. Just that's young nigga lies are just like to get to the next day. Like they don't think
That's literally it. Yeah,
they don't think any further than that.
that's true. That's a fact.
You want to? All right, we got Act Two. We're going to call this the thrill of the game and the escalation of risk. Successful heists build confidence and provide a fleeting luxury, but increasing violence and the law's tightening grip amplify the danger. I just want to say off the rip that the white detective's instincts were right the whole time.
He was.
From the very first robbery, he was like,
It's
well, he
them.
was wrong that she was involved with the opening scene, but.
Yeah.
The very first robbery, he pegged it as you know Francesca was I think Vivica A. Fox's character's name. So
Yeah.
good for him. What you got for Act Two?
Um, Speaking of the cops, yeah, I wanted to ask you, that black lady cop, was she just supposed to be an asshole, or was she supposed to be like a self-hating black officer?
So this is a '90s, so it was commonly like a movie trope to where like when you needed like often in like cop shows that when they have no black characters, they do like the token annoying black supervisor character. So
Right.
they
Yeah.
did I don't know her actual name, but I just call her the mom from Friday and the security
Yeah.
guard from Wayne's Brothers. She's like the CPS worker who's just like trying to take the baby's child or trying to take TT's child. And then there's the black
Yeah.
cop lady who's just like there to so Vivica could be like, "You wrong, sister," and you gonna keep a black woman down.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
no, I just think that she was just a trope, a movie trope where it's just like, the annoying black supervisor and or CPS person. So she
Got
did a
you.
good, I mean, she barely had speaking lines and she was just kind of there just so everyone could be like, look at this black cop bitch. Like that was it. That was her whole purpose.
Yeah, that's her name in the credits. If you look, it's Black Cop Bitch.
That's it. That's all she was there for. Um, Blair Underwood was right. That dress was ugly. The first dress,
Yeah, it
like
was horrible.
the
I don't
Japanese
know what she was
stylized
thinking.
dress.
That dress was so wrong.
Um, Cle-
Get it?
Cleo was in a garage. Um, so they robbed the first bank
Yeah.
and they get
Leo
about three
crashes
bands
out.
each from the first bank. Do you agree that TT should have got a cut?
Uh, I'm gonna say yes because her the shit that happened with her child was what propelled them to do the robbery in the first place.
Fair.
And
I mean,
I assume she helped in the planning. And also, worst case scenario, like if let's say you don't give her the money, she has every right to be like, "Yo, you remember that bank that got robbed?"
fair. That is true. You are in essence, yeah, okay. I guess that's kind of like if you didn't rob the bank with us, I need nothing but co-conspirators because everyone has to have something to lose, and
Yes,
she didn't have anything to lose. So you're
correct.
basically buying her silence. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
I thought she was gonna be. I mean, she's kind of like the person who's like first in line for the pizza and then put none on it. But in that situation, you gotta pay for her silence. So fair.
yeah. Also, I do want to say we talked about this with the Best Man Holiday. Serious, sad friendship moments that get turned into memes because black people don't take nothing serious. That's one of them where she's like, "I need that money."
Yo, literally, her child was taken from her. CPS is a trip, though. Look, I mean, obviously, it is in tech neglect to bring your child to a hazardous workplace, and then
Work
your child, and
environment.
then not even watch them well enough to where he's able to crawl away and drink bleach.
Yeah.
But like, I just
I
feel like a
assume kids
functioning
do that all the time.
Well, I just think like a functioning, like obviously she needs like material help. She's not inherently
Right.
neglectful or abuseful. She just needs resources. So you're gonna take this
Correct.
child and give it to strangers with resources instead of just giving her resources. Like that doesn't make any sense. And
Yeah, I
really,
never understood the concept of
foster
like,
care, they're gonna pay the new family money.
Right. I don't get that. I've never understood the concept of like punishing a poor person for having children. Like I don't know.
Well, so I mean, it's not that she her well, in this particular circumstances, it was the fact that she did not have
Right.
resources, but the idea that like foster children are in foster care just because they're poor, not really. I mean, usually there's some sort of abuse or neglect or something like going
Fair.
on. Now
That's
you
true.
can
That's
tie that
true.
back to poverty in one
Right.
way or another, but rarely is it as direct as this movie where she was a loving and attentive and caring mother. She just couldn't
Yeah.
pay for a babysitter, so she brought her child to work, and you have to work at work, and her child
Right.
went and drank some bleach. So this is one of
Hmm.
those circumstances where it really, it really makes more sense to just give her what she needs because she wants to be a good mother.
A
She
good
just
mother.
can't. She's working for, I think Luther was paying her like $6 an hour.
15 an hour or something like
No,
that.
no, they thought 15 was like royalty. Remember when they were on the
Oh, that's right.
roof
No, no, no.
smoking
Yeah, you're right.
weed?
They're talking about they would have gotten 15 an hour at the plant. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
they
right.
thought that was like wealth. So that's
Yeah.
like that's how poor these people
They
were.
were destitute.
That's the problem with Hollywood though, is that like to be a Hollywood actress, you have to be like beautiful.
Yeah.
And like something I know this is weird in the movie, like people this poor would not have teeth this great. And like all of their
Right.
teeth are like pearly white and straight, and they're actresses. You're not gonna tell them fuck your teeth up for a role.
Right.
But like it almost makes you forget how poor they're supposed to be in the role.
Right.
But
Like,
they're
yeah.
really, really poor people. But
Hmm.
they look like the gay fox who, you know, yeah.
Is stunning. So that's just
But what are
what
you
it
gonna do?
is.
You know, it's
Yeah,
just one of the
like
bottlenecks of Hollywood. So
yeah, like you literally just have you cast four beautiful women. That's just what they're
correct.
gonna be. Like
Correct.
so
Like you can't
um
unbeautify. That's not even a word, but you can't make Jada Pinkett Smith ugly for a role.
yeah,
You know.
you can't.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What was I about to say? Okay, so obviously well, yeah, obviously like Cleo was like the biggest liability of the crew,
yeah.
considering she just had no discipline and was off doing stupid shit, shooting the roof up, pulling a gun on Stony, throwing the CDs out, touching them with her bare hands, lighting cigarettes on the scene of the crime, just doing everything you're not supposed to do as if you're into true crime.
To be fair, this is the '90s before Forensic Files was on playing on loop, and you
True.
didn't
And
like
this is
people
before
didn't
like
know.
court TV and the
But you
OJ
knew
case
not to
and
wear.
stuff
You knew
like
to wear
that.
gloves. You didn't know that. You knew fingerprints were a thing in the
Yeah.
'90s. But yeah.
Right.
Also, like you put her on driver duty for the second robbery,
Hmm.
and you bring TT. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like
Yeah.
like you want.
TTD be sitting in the back of the car
Yeah.
giving
But
directions.
she pulled through in that second drive through though. The second
She did.
robbery though.
Oh yeah,
So they
with
got
when
like
she played the plant.
so they got 70 bands apiece on the second robbery, right?
Hmm.
And I felt bad at that point because they were done. Like they were out,
Yeah.
they were
They were
straight, they were
done.
getting ready to move, but Luther's took their money. And
Yeah.
they in the third robbery we'll get to is where it all fell apart. But like
Yeah.
that second robbery was close. And they got
Yeah.
out and they had the 70 bands. 70 bands today is a lot of money. 70
That's
bands in
right.
1995 was a
A
bag.
bitch load of
They
money.
could have really restarted. They could have put all their money
Hmm.
together and bought a house somewhere
Yeah.
and you know, and been straight and just started over.
Yep.
But fate would have it they couldn't. What else you got for Act Two?
Yeah. Um. Yeah, that shit. Oh man, that scene gets me time to sleep. Like you almost for like you know the movie has a sad ending when you watch it because you've seen it before.
Yeah.
But you always like you almost forget and you're like, oh, they got the money, they're gonna get away. How did it go so bad again? And then you're like, that damn Luther, he took all that shit.
I mean, did Luther, well, obviously not. The movie came out afterwards, but Luther never saw No Country for Old Men. You don't just pick up bags of
No.
money and then he did the
Yeah.
most nigga shit ever. Went to a hotel down the street, bought a watch and
You
some
got a
jewelry,
hooker
and got a hooker. Nigga, you just came up off a quarter M and you in a fucking
and
Roach
you didn't
Motel
leave
with
the
a
state.
hooker. Uh, Let me come up off a quarter M. Like I'm not buying no
Right.
fucking. No,
The
I'm
first
not
thing
in
I'm
town.
buying, the first thing I'm buying is a flight
Yeah.
uh to wherever the fuck in like you know, whoever they have extradition at, no extradition at, or something like that.
But they,
Um,
I mean, there's little hints of the poverty in the movie where her
right.
boyfriend asks her, "Have you ever even left this city?" And she's like, "No." Like they don't even.
Yeah.
I wouldn't shock me if none of them had ever been on an airplane before, including
Oh
Luther.
yeah, for sure.
So and these are people who have never left their neighborhood, probably, you know,
Right. Your neighborhood is the world.
beach or some shit like that, but nothing serious.
Hmm. Yeah. And even like with Luther, like when I was saying earlier about like every aside from like the guy who tried to basically pimp out Stoney, pretty much everyone else in the movie like had a reason motivation for doing the things they did. Like if you're Luther and you find 250,000 dollars in an event, you're taking that money and you're gonna
Yeah,
blow that money.
yeah,
Um, if you're the girls, you're gonna get that money back. And
yeah.
if he pulls a gun on you, you're gonna shoot him. Like nobody really did anything that was like crazy or like off the wall like evil, you know what I mean? Which
But
made everybody much more empathetic.
but once they killed Luther, it was over. It didn't
Yeah, it
matter.
was
Like
over.
they were
Yeah.
not like
Yeah, it was
they
over.
come hell or high water. They left the witness alive. But keep in mind, these aren't hardened criminals.
Right. Which they should have
So
killed her too.
yeah, I mean, but like it's easy. I mean, easy. I mean,
I
it's
mean,
easy to
just
yeah. You
in
kill
terms of
Luther because he put
strategy,
a
not
gun in
literally
somebody's
like
face. But you have this
right,
like
not
this woman begging for her life. You're just gonna put like these aren't killers, you know?
right. That's what I'm saying. Like if just like logically speaking,
Yeah, I mean, she had to go.
you would need to leave no stone unturned there.
I
But
mean, she has all of them dead to rights.
right, and on top of that, she's in the same position they are because she's probably just as bad off as they are, financially. So but I did love the scene where with Queen Latifah in the lineup where she's just like. We really sleep on her acting talent, man.
I mean, she's one of the most talented
She's
uh
kind of the female Jamie
people
Foxx.
ever. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because she can sing. She doesn't do it often, but I mean, she's
Yeah.
got platinum albums, she's got
Hmm.
TV shows, she's got movies,
She still got bars to this day.
still got bars to this day. So true that. Let's get into Act Three. We're gonna call it Betrayal, Fallout, and the Fight for Freedom. That was never realistically gonna come. Internal conflicts, tragic losses, and a relentless police pursuit force a brutal last stand, leaving one to escape a new life. I do love how there's only like two cops in the entire city until like the last scenes. Just
Right.
the white guy and the black lady just chasing him around. I'm like,
Just
anyone want to call
pushing
him back
Sundance
up?
Kid. Yeah.
But that's movies. Also one more thing too. So they robbed the bank, the last
Hmm.
bank. It's like the super duper bank of the city. I don't know how to say that more eloquently. And
Right.
uh, within in the fallout from the bank, TT gets shot,
Hmm.
and they switch cars. TT dies in the old car. Sun's
Hmm.
out, middle of the day. The next scene is pitch black. I was like, okay. I was like, all right, that's a little some continuity errors. That's some real 90s stuff.
Damn, you're right.
Uh,
I never thought about that.
yeah,
That's
because they
crazy.
like
Yep.
they're crying over TT. It's like in the afternoon because they just
And
robbed the
then it's
bank,
pitch black and they're in
and
a
the next scene
tunnel.
they're running from the cops and it's pitch black out. So, shout out to movie magic.
Right. That's that yeah, we couldn't get the tax credits we needed, so we had to shoot it at night. That's
Yeah,
what that is.
that or just like no one. I mean, back then movies would just have continuity issues. That just no one
True.
cared about because you didn't have a streamer where you would watch it over and over again. So you go
Right.
see it in a theater and you'd forget about it. What else
Yeah.
you got
And
for
also I
Act Three,
think
man?
um what did I have for Act Three? So how do you think the cop or the security guard at the bank did too much by shooting TT? Because they were putting the
Yes.
guns down and he just like popped in and shot her like three times,
Yeah, it was bad
four
police
or five
work.
times.
Because one, the detectives on charge, they were in charge, right?
Yeah.
And they're clearly playing hostage negotiators or
They're
whatever you want to call them.
de-escalating.
They're
Yeah.
de-escalating well. Actually, really good police work.
Yeah.
And they had them, and then
He just
Rambo
ruined
had
it
to come
all.
through there,
Right. Trying to
and
be
uh,
hero.
and I think he lost his life for it too. So,
Correct. So what
uh,
did you accomplish?
yeah, it was a bad shoot. I mean, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, though, that like by then they had had a lot of bodies on them, and they had caused a
Right.
lot of destruction.
Yeah,
So
they
they were
yeah.
they were considered armed and very dangerous. But and also Luther, they killed him. They wanted for murder too.
True.
But it was still I mean, you had them. They were surrendering.
Dead to rights.
So,
Yeah. Okay, so if you were oh man. If you were shit. What's his name? Blair Underwood's character.
yeah,
And he's watching the security footage and he realizes that's Stony. And then she calls him and tells him to leave the office,
yeah.
basically. What do you do in that situation?
This is some woman I've known for a month and I fucked one time. I'm snitching. What the fuck? Well, because I actually have in my notes right here, like the movie played it off, but he would be fucked
Like it was a love
professionally.
story.
No, I
He
mean
did
he
not.
would like they would have put it together.
Yeah.
He took her to the banker's banquet.
Yep.
Uh, he's been seen with her. He's talking to her while she's
Hmm.
casing the joint. I'm sure he's told a coworker about this new girl he's seeing. He conveniently
True.
gets a call and he leaves. And it turns out that that was his girlfriend the whole time. He looks guilty as fuck. And whether or not he
As
faces
fuck.
any legal consequences, he most certainly loses his career over it. And no bank's ever going to hire him again. So the
Right.
movie gave him the happy ending, but in real life, he would have been so fucked. Um, and no, I mean, maybe this is me thinking a little too logically, but no, I mean, he's known this
Hmm.
woman for a month and they fucked one time. They went out on 2 dates. I'm not losing my career over this broad. Hey man, I know her. Her name is Stony. She live.
She live over
Her,
there.
yeah, her drawers over here. She left them somewhere.
There's DNA in him.
His DNA in him. Come get him. I need a swab. Get this bitch out my crib. I ain't know nothing.
Now, what's that meme of the kid snitching in court where he's like,
Yeah, he just pointed right here. I don't know. I don't know her. I ain't grow up with her. I fucked that girl one time. We went on 2 dates. I've known her all of 36 days. Like, I'm
right. I don't know her
not.
last name or her favorite
No,
color.
I ain't met none of her friends. Hell no. I'm not going down with you. Fuck out of here. The whole movie was what, 45 days in time?
Pretty much, yeah.
Ah, man, please. I would have been singing like the Temptations, man. Absolutely not.
Um, so I wanted to ask you a couple questions, like hypotheticals.
Sure.
Okay, so one, so if you were to rob a bank and you needed a team of three other people, who would you pick? And what role would you play on the team?
I don't think I can answer that on camera. I don't think I can answer that on camera. Fifth, I'm gonna plead the fifth.
All right. Okay.
Um, I could lie to you, but that wouldn't be. I don't like
Yeah.
lying, so
All right. I feel you.
I would have to
Um.
use names and nah,
No.
I
Yeah.
can't.
You're all
I
good.
can't do that.
We don't want no. We don't want the feds on nobody.
No, no. We're gonna have to. I have to plead the fifth on that one. I'm using my Fifth
Got you.
Amendment right against self-incrimination.
I feel you. We accept it in the court of law of
Fair
podcasting.
enough.
Um. So have you ever been at a point like financially where you're just like so down bad? You ever thought about doing anything not as desperate as robbing a bank, but just like you know what I mean? Where you're like, fuck, like what am I gonna
Dude,
do?
um, shit, my first apartment, man. I once pawned my was it ghetto bankruptcy pawning your PlayStation?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
hell yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I once pawned my PlayStation to pay my light bill. In my early 20s, early mid 20s, man. I used to do all kinds of shit to figure it out, man. I used to account overdrafted in a motherfucker. I
Yep.
knew yeah. So, do something illegal? No. I've never
Yeah.
done anything illicit, but I've definitely I once considered giving blood, but that didn't work out. But no, man, I've been broke before.
Yeah.
I've pawned some things. I've done the payment arrangements. I've done
Yeah.
uh the odd jobs here and there. This, that, and the third. So yeah, for sure, absolutely. How about you?
Okay. Yeah, definitely for sure. I think got real bad for me during the beginning of the pandemic or like the height of the pandemic. I just like gotten laid off from a job that I had started only worked for like 3 or 4 months, so I didn't get like great severance or anything like that. Unemployment was hadn't kicked in yet or something like that. And yeah, unemployment hadn't kicked in because everybody was getting laid off because of COVID. And so it just took forever to get. And it got to a point where my bank account was so low, I thought they would just stop drafting overdraft fees. Like I thought they'd just be like, okay, like I thought I'd be like, you get it, right? There's nothing in there, just stop. Like,
No, they were
um,
running feeds up.
yeah, no, I didn't know it was possible to be in the negative hundreds until that year.
Oh shit.
It's like I was, my shit was like, I think at one point it was like negative like 500 or some shit like that. Like,
If you have a direct deposit tied to it, they'll let it go even more than that. Because they're
yeah,
just
that's pretty much
because
what was
they
happening
know as
with
soon as you
that.
get paid again, they're just gonna go back. Like
Right.
that. So it's basically a payday
Yeah.
loan at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. So it was literally so it was that, and then it was the $35
Yeah.
NSF fees that kept adding up. Yeah, it got to the point where I was like pawning and like selling shit in my room, like secretly, like,
Me and
and
my me and my boy used to have a trick, a thought. So like back when I quit Facebook years ago, but we
yeah.
would like like whenever we see someone on Facebook like selling their J's, we'd be like, oh boy. Like I got these taxi 12s lightly used who want them 150 bucks. Like,
Yeah,
oh
like
man,
there was
your
like
light
some
bill
like
due,
stuff
ain't it?
like shit is like slowly like disappearing from my room, and I remember, so I didn't tell my family about it until after like I got out of the hole. I mean, they helped me out. Once I eventually got so bad, I was like, guys, I need some money, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, cool, whatever. But eventually, I told them about like what I've been doing to like subsidize myself, like in between that time, and they were like, you don't. We are your parents. Like, you don't need to do. You have us. Like, we don't need. You don't need to do that. Like, why could you? What made you feel like you need to do that? We pawned our shit, so you wouldn't have to pawn your shit. You know what I mean? And then they were like, "What else were you selling?" And then my mom was like, "She was like, if I walk around and just start seeing like little kids looking like you, we're gonna have some problems."
Dude, I used to have this fucking dating myself, this like gigantic DVD collection.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
And when times got tight, I would go to GameStop and sell them. And like I would be too like
you get
my mom and
25
my
cents.
sister would be like, "Hey, can I watch that movie?" I'd be, "Oh, I don't have it anymore." What happened to it all? It's like you sold your movies again. Yeah, man, I had to survive.
I used to do that shit in college. I used to do that shit in college. Yeah.
Rebuild it, buy it back from like the dump bin and resell them over again.
Yep.
What you got any more
Oh
questions, man?
man. Um, let's see. No, I think that was all my questions. You got any more for me?
Was Cleo sacrificing herself for to
Uh,
save the other two girls? Did she know she was gonna die when she told them to get out the car?
yeah, I think she knew she was gonna die. I think so.
I agree. It was she pulls out
Somebody
the
had to
tunnel,
die.
she sees that helicopter and she's like, we're not all gonna make it.
We're now. Yeah,
And that's why she told them to take the money. And that hug, that stony
correct.
hug, it was like, yeah,
That was a
this is
goodbye
goodbye.
forever.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I think one, if they got helicopters, they got everybody on your ass.
yeah.
So, I think that was the tell-all sign it was over. I mean, it was over, period, once they started killing people, but it was really over when once they realized the intensity of the pursuit that was
Yeah.
upon them.
They didn't I don't think it even got real to them until the helicopters came. I think that was all it was all
Yeah,
like a game of Grand Theft Auto until then.
yeah, I
Uh,
think they thought it was like some fun, like, oh, look, like we're stealing shit, and then they were like, oh,
this is
like
real.
this is real consequences. Like we might die.
All right,
Yeah.
man. What do you rate it?
Um, I love this movie, man. I'm gonna give it a. I mean, it's a little bit of storytelling problems in the first act, but I'm gonna give it a 3.5 stars.
I go with that. I'm going with four. This is it's 2 hours long. Doesn't feel like it. In fact, we
It
asked for
doesn't.
more in Act One, so
True.
we asked for that the escalation to be stretched out more. So I love a well-paced movie.
Me
There was
too.
no dry points in the movie. Some minor issues here and there, but I'm gonna give it a four, man. I really,
Yeah,
really, 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 really enjoyed this. So
yeah, and it's really hard to get a movie with four main leads and them all have like actual personality traits.
yeah, defined characters. They weren't. No one was just the person except for well, you're talking about the four main leads. So yeah, all of
Yeah,
them. I felt like I knew them all. I knew their stories. They, all of them had some personal life that was in it, and yeah,
yeah.
I could agree. We're gonna give it four. All right. Thanks for listening. My name is Darius. That's D's all up in your area on all socials.
And I'm Jordan. Jordy be writing on all socials.
Please rate, like, subscribe. We're Moviegoers Pod on all socials. That is Moviegoers PD on Twitter. That is PD on Twitter.
And for any ongoing movie recommendations, feel free to reach out to us via email at moviegoerspod@gmail.com. That's moviegoerspod@gmail.com.
We're keeping that in too.
That
You're keeping your flubs in.
that's cool. Fucking we ball. That's a wrap. Thanks for listening to the moviegoers. We'll be back next week. We are reviewing Think Like a Man. Y'all take good care of yourselves.
Y'all have a good one.